15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Somebody's asking for the implementation of a Freedom of Information Act because of a pending project. Also coming up this afternoon, more concern expressed about the St. Lucia Social Development Fund activity that was held recently and what appeared to turn out into a political activity promoting the governing St. Lucia Labour Party. We have that and a whole lot more, including a back-in-time exchange between two politicians on this, the most monitored talk show in the world, which is on Power 97.9 FM, also on Radio Garden, also via the TuneIn app, and it's also on the NewsSpin Facebook page and NewsSpin YouTube channel. By the way, please like the video, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and click the notification bell to help the channel grow. In a moment, Amanda will be going through some of your comments in the chat room and report to us, and we'll be taking your calls at 452-2979, 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. Let's take you back into time. And we are talking about the year 2015, and that is just prior to the island's last general election. And there was a famous exchange between two politicians. And at the time, I was hosting a talk show on another television station. And this was riveting television. And it would have held many people captive on that particular evening. Let's watch and let's listen to that exchange.
What an issue, on the air?
Yeah, Tim, Richard Frederick.
Hi, good evening, Mr. Frederick.
Yeah, I need to ask Rufus a couple of questions because, I mean, I want to make it clear that what persons called me to tell me was in fact the truth before I even addressed them, because I need to ask Mr. Rufus.
Richard, do you really want to do this here?
Yeah, I want to do it here because you did it here. You did it right there.
I didn't do anything. I spoke on issues and questions that were brought to my attention.
Right. Okay, Rufus,
and I spoke to them truthfully, Richard.
Hold on.
But to make me be the judge, jury, and executioner in your issue is just not something you should do.
Let me just ask you a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Did you or did you not say I should not have run the last election and I shouldn't have run the two preceding elections? Did you say so?
No, I didn't say you shouldn't have run the two preceding. I said that I felt that you should not have run the last election. That's the way I feel about it, Richard.
Okay.
And that's how I feel.
I understand that very well.
Okay.
Why?
Well,
why?
But I already stated why, Richard. I'm not going to get into a back and forth with you here. I mean, really, Timothy,
Rufus,
I don't think that's necessary. No,
Rufus,
Richard, come on.
I agree with you, but listen to me.
Yes.
Listen to me.
Yes.
The law says innocent until proven guilty. You must not forget.
I addressed that.
Hold on, Rufus. Give me a patient hearing, please. Give me. You were the same one, Rufus, who was in the center of a UN scandal. You were the same one who was allegedly imprisoned with a false name, Bruce Tucker. You were the same one Sir John fired twice in cabinet.
Richard, you really, I mean,
hold on,
Tim, I know this is good TV, but really, I don't think this is where we need to address that.
No,
okay, hold on.
Don't forget, I have my show, you know. I have my show. I can address
but Richard, please address it on your show.
Because Rufus,
Richard, all you're doing Believe me, it's not even in your interest to get on like this right now.
No, I'm
Honestly.
not getting on. You were saying that's how you felt. I'm telling you
Look,
that not
my history and who I am is well known in this country. I don't think there are any secrets. But I dealt with the issue.
Okay,
I
let's
stated
give
my opinion
Richard
and my
a patient
views on
hearing.
it.
Richard, go ahead, please.
Yeah. Okay.
What I'm saying is,
You're enjoying this, huh, Tim?
Tim, my
Just play
point
mediator.
Yeah. Well, there's no mediator here.
I enjoyed that exchange. 10 years later, I could tell you, Rufus, I really enjoyed that exchange on that particular Wednesday evening. And the program I hosted at the time was Hot Button Issue, an exchange there, fiery one between Richard Frederick and Rufus Busquet. But let's get back to 2025. And an independent candidate is suggesting that it's about time we have a Freedom of Information Act. Let us join some of our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean who have such legislation in place. Trinidad and Tobago, Antigua, Jamaica, I think Barbados also has a Freedom of Information Act. It does not mean there are not limitations in terms of your ability as a citizen to access government information. But at least there is a pathway that you can navigate with some ease. Unlike what obtains in St. Lucia when you are searching for government information, when you are asking questions of government ministers and government officials, and you are told that's not your business. And the independent candidate for Castries North, Mr. Marcellus Backsteed, is the one who is suggesting that it's about time we have a Freedom of Information Act in St. Lucia. Why is he making that call at this time? It's because of a statement that was made by the infrastructure minister and MP for Castries North. Many of us heard it for the very first time. Plans for a new town center in Leclerc, and that would involve the input of an African investor. And that would result in the transformation of the area into an economic hub linking Castries and Grosley. So Mr. Steed appears to be frustrated, saying, enough is enough. We have been through this before with a number of other projects where people were none the wiser, people not aware of what those projects entailed. Eventually they were unveiled in a limited manner, and there were certain aspects of those projects that could not have been revealed to the St. Lucian public, to you, the taxpayers, because you hear government officials and ministers say things like, there are certain agreements that you have to keep private. I almost said in secrecy, but you keep them private because you do not want to reveal too much that could jeopardize such projects. But let's listen to DBS's Miriam Motut reporting on aspects of that project and quoting and featuring the infrastructure minister and the MP for Castries North, Mr. Stevenson King.
On Friday, Infrastructure Minister and Castries North MP Stevenson King announced during the Meet the Minister talk show on RevUp St. Lucia that an African investor, who is a shareholder with the African Export-Import Bank, would be investing in a town centre at Leclerc.
And we are now in the position of engaging him fully into discussion because of the range of services that he's talking about. So basically he's talking about shops, boutiques, opportunities for the indigenous people, opportunities for constituents who have little businesses. So nobody should be left out. So those people who have the little things there, the little kiosk, etc., on the side of the road should have an opportunity there. Recreational facilities and the potential of having some condominium and the possibility of a hotel.
King says that the town centre will serve as an economic hub between the city of Castries and Gros-Islet.
Once the development comes, there's a piece of legislation which speaks to a Special Development Areas Act. We will declare Leclerc from the school going all the way back into Lance Road as a special development area. What it does, it gives property owners in that area an opportunity to reinvest into their properties and to get into commercial activities. So those persons who want to have an Airbnb, who wants to do a breakfast and whatever it is, all of those people will be able to get concessions to improve on their properties and to participate in the opportunity of economic activity in Leclerc.
Stephen Favrier, the United Workers' Party endorsed candidate for Castries North, voiced concerns about the new development. He questioned the fate of the former residents of the old CDC buildings that used to occupy the lands, who expect to return once the area was redeveloped, a promise initially made by Minister King in his 2009 budget address.
He disclosed as well that he intends to designate the area as a special economic zone. And whilst that may be good for some areas, it does have deep implications about how land is used, how the people who have informal businesses here, how they'll be treated, people who have certain connections with these lands, how they would maintain access to the lands that they in this area.
He is calling on Minister King to have better public consultation with community members and those who will be impacted.
So I'm calling on the minister to be clear on who the foreign investor is, whether this is a CIP program, when he will be consulting with the people, and how those people who currently use the land and the areas attached to the land, how they too would benefit from that investment. The fourth question is, were local and regional investors also offered an opportunity to submit proposals for investing in this very important area?
Favorie's comments were made on Wednesday, 8th October. For the DBS News World, Miriam Montoute reporting.
Thank you very much, DBS's Miriam Montoute, for that report. So let us hear now from the independent candidate for Castries North, Marcellus Backsteed, calling for a Freedom of Information Act that could be utilized in instances of that nature so that all information pertaining to such projects can be known to members of the public. That's if that is even permissible where you have a Freedom of Information Act.
This is the reason why we need a Freedom of Information Act with teeth. Stephenson King, latest betrayal, has historic importance. Stephenson King, his incompetence and his betrayal are historic. This is now spanning the influence of two governments. This latest betrayal and incompetence is evidence that he offering the CDC properties to a Nigerian foreign investor is incompetent, and it shows sheer laziness. And if people understand the history, Stephenson King umbilical cord, his political umbilical cord, is buried in the CDC area. When he beat Mikey Pilgrim, he needed the votes to beat Mikey Pilgrim. So that's the history. Yet, out of sheer laziness, lack of creativity, sheer incompetence, he's attempted to hand over a property worth millions of dollars to a foreign investor. This is not just poor judgment, it is disregard for the community, the legacy of people of Castries North and the CDC area. Stephenson King has to reconsider this project. Stephenson King has to stop any negotiations on behalf of the people of Castries North. This is sheer incompetence on his part to give this property away when it's worth millions of dollars, and it is not being discussed by the community. This has to stop. We need a Freedom of Information Act with teeth.
Independent candidate for Castries North in the upcoming general election, Mr. Marcellus Backsteed. One other issue before we open the line to take your calls. There's somebody who called the Newsmaker Live last evening on DBS television and arguing the fact that the Police Welfare Association has been complaining that over 6 months there's not been payments made for the insurance of the police of St. Lucia. Premiums that had to be paid by the authorities. Remember what the Prime Minister said just recently regarding not receiving invoices. This is what the President of the PWA said on Tuesday of this week.
Because this problem, Timothy, it is not a yesterday's problem. It is not a 6 months ago problem. It is not a problem from a year ago. This problem has been for 3 years and counting. Every single time within the last 3 years plus that we have had to pay this policy to the insurance, we have had to pay it in arrears. And every single time the invoices have been submitted. So this is not, the Prime Minister should know that, and he knows that. When we have to pay this insurance policy, we have to be running around to the PS, to Treasury, to our accounts department, to also ensure that this insurance policy is facilitated. As we speak now, the insurance policy has expired. And you know why we have not been able to renew the policy? It is because we have been asking, we have written to Commissioner, we have gone to the PS, we have gone to the HR department, requesting a manpower audit. And without a proper accounting of every police officer, we cannot renew the policy. 6 months we were asking for this. And we have not been able to give, we were not able to receive a manpower audit for 6 months. Surprisingly, Tim, it has become a public conversation. And on Friday the 3rd, we received the manpower audit after 6 months. The insurance company called me, and the agent also called me, indicating that they are unable, the invoices that are being submitted are short only because there have been new recruitment in the force, and these persons are not appearing on the invoices. And every police officer is supposed to be accounted for. Timothy, for the Prime Minister to say that the money has been damaged as a result of invoicing, Timothy, we had not been paid from June to March, part of the 6 months. All invoices were in place. All of them were with the accounts department and Treasury. We had not been paid for these months, June to March. Sorry, we were not paid from March to June. Right? The invoices that the Prime Minister speaks of now, and I have in my possession an apology letter from the insurance agent for not having submitted 3 invoices from July to September, Tim. These are the only invoices that were not available, only because had they submitted those invoices, it would have been short because the manpower audit was not available. So for the Prime Minister to speak the language that he spoke, knowing better, knowing that it is not the fault of the Police Welfare Association, we have a letter of apology, right? We have invoices in there, and we only got those monies but a week ago only because it came out in the public, Timothy. You understand? And for the Prime Minister to come out and say it is the Welfare Association's fault that the invoices were not submitted. But invoices were submitted from March to June, and they still were not paid. And as I said to you earlier, it is 3 years and counting. This problem has been there. We have written to the Permanent Secretary lamenting the fact that this policy has not been paid and serviced regularly and in a timely manner, and it runs the risk of being cancelled. We have written on that, Timothy. The Prime Minister knows. He knows that. The Commissioner knows. The PS knows. The Accounts Department knows. Our HR department knows how many times we have been to them asking for this manpower audit for the last 3 months, for 3 months. Not the 6 months that I spoke of. That's for 3 months. Right? As we speak today, the invoices that were submitted, the most recent invoices, it is short. It does not adequately represent the entire police force because we had not received the manpower audit, or the insurance company had not received the manpower audit that we've been requesting for 6 months. So like I said, I'm not going to be calling anybody liars. And for the Prime Minister to speak on the fact that there is money to be paid, there is money to be paid, Timothy, and the storeroom has nothing in there. Police officers cannot get uniforms. There is money to be paid. Timothy, I'm very, very surprised at the Prime Minister when he says that, because I know he knows better. I know the Prime Minister knows that this issue with paying the insurance policy in a timely manner has existed for more than 3 years. He knows that. And every single time that we have had to pay this insurance policy, we have had to pay it in arrears.
President of the PWA, that statement issued to NewsSpin on Tuesday of this week. You'd heard there from Mr. Cameron Law for the benefit of the caller to last evening's News Make a Life program, who was blaming the PWA for the delay in the payment of the insurance on behalf of police officers. And he claimed that, on the contrary, it was the PWA who failed to submit the invoices. Let's open the line to the calls right now at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. We have a call. Good afternoon. You are on the air.
Good day.
Good afternoon.
Tim.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't matter how many times. It doesn't matter how many times you play that. That same caller and others will still not blame the Prime Minister, but will blame everything or everybody else. Okay? So it almost doesn't matter playing it back. Tim, I've known you for a long time. I think I was about 15 years when I was literally watching you on the television giving the news. And I'm in my 40s already, so I am thinking you're very old. But
judge me on my height, sir. Judge me on my height. So I'm like 10, 11.
I know you long enough. I tell you, I remember you when I was 15 years old. And I'm in my 40s, almost 40 years later. 20 years later. So I know you for a long time.
Okay,
but where that? You've been following politics in St. Lucia for a while. Now, fortunately for me, I always had a love for politics, and I've been following politics for a while. I only started voting underneath Alan. And I can tell you, Tim, when you look at the platform, the message that is being sent on the platforms, I think it has been worse today than ever. Because I look at the Labour Party platform, Tim, and I am wondering who is in government today. Because the Labour Party comes out as if they are in opposition, and instead of addressing their fall short, the shortcomings and, where they have fallen short, and say, okay, look, this is what we need to do. This is what we are going to do in our second term, and so on and so forth. In the Labour Party is coming out with a whole load of untruths, a whole load of stories that they make up. I just don't get it. I listened to Danny Butcher. As far as I heard, Danny Butcher was Kenny's campaign manager. Where were you the last 4 years? Today you coming in for a whole truckload of items that you want to do for you for. But you still in office. Your government is in office. You want 5 years now to come and implement these things when you're in a position where you can implement them. Today I'm hearing all sorts of lies on the TV and the radio about Alan and this and Alan that and Alan UWP this, UWP. Who is in office? There's no need to come and say give any allegations or say lies to him, because you're in a position to investigate it and come to the public and say, look, this is what was found. But you are going to try to misrepresent the truth, the facts, put it out there, and for people to just believe it. They're still talking about, I heard Lisa talking about the vaccine, the $7 million team. Your government is in office. Y'all are quiet about it. You're not saying anything about it because you're receiving the money. They are receiving the money. It's coming in because the person was supposed to pay in installments or whatever we were supposed to pay back. They're receiving the money, team, so they're not going to say anything about it as a government. But they will allow their people to go outside there and spread lies and say Alan gave away $7 million and nobody. They will never say that this is not so. They will never say that they're receiving the money. Look, I'm hearing about the airport. What about the APD tax that was implemented, Tim? How much money has the government collected on the APD tax? We don't know. How much money has gone into St. Jude's as they started it over? We have no idea. What about the CIP audits, Tim? How much money, how much passport has been sold? We have no idea. I understand what Bax was saying about the thing he's asking for. And we need that for true. You understand me? But we need to hold this government accountable. We, the people, need to stop behaving as if nothing is wrong. Tim, I say it already. If you see the government that the party I'm supporting is in government today, and they behave in that way, you know what? You will not hear me calling your show. Okay? Because if I call your show, it is to ask them questions. It is to tell them to put the truth out. I will not call defending them knowing full well that they are not being truthful, that they are hiding things and so on and so forth. How can we as a nation be like that, Tim? Regardless of my color, who's going to feel it? There is so in Mikud South alone, those posters, Tim, those billboards, do you know how much one of those billboards cost? Do you know that Dr. Haraxin has about 7 or 8 of them in Mikud South in different locations? I counted them from Tiroshe down to Deriso going down to Ange, Tim. I counted 7, but there's one that is empty, that they have not put the poster on it yet, but the board is there. Okay, Tim, these things are expensive. You coming in the community saying Alan is not fixing community centers, he's not doing that. Yes, still you the one in government. There was a time which wanted to fix a little community center in Diga. The town council prevented us from touching it, Tim. You understand? Because it falls underneath local government. They prevented us from touching it. Alan could not touch it. He cannot fix it. So how can you go now and say he's not doing this, he's not doing that, when you're preventing us from fixing it? The little bit of money you're giving, by the time we assist persons with medical team and a few persons with a little renovation on their houses and things like that, the old elderly people, by the time you get a $50,000, it's finished already, Tim.
It's the business of the government to take care of the people of the country. And whether it is Miku North or Miku South, or whether it's Chozel, Saltibus, or any constituency in St. Lucia, any area in St. Lucia, irrespective of which political party that's in office, they have a responsibility to take care of those constituencies and, by extension, the people in those areas. Before those people are SLP supporters and UWP supporters, before they are those supporters of those parties, they are foremost St. Lucians. And the resources of the state should be utilized for the people of the country.
Right. So I'm saying you in office, Tim, before I go. You in a position to do so. But rather than you do so, you asking for the person who's in opposition. Why they're not doing this? Why they're not doing that? Are you forgetting that you're in government, Tim? That is what I'm saying. Why is it the call on Alan to do this, do that, when Alan is, his whole salary is going in the community, Tim, helping people doing these things. You understand? He does not touch government money. And that is not hearsay. He does not touch government money. You understand? You are in government. You come in and say Alan is not fixing roads. When you in government, fix the road. Tim,
okay, caller.
Have a good day, Ton.
All right. Thank you so much for calling. Let's take another call as we say hello. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Is this Tim?
Yes, good afternoon to you, sir.
This is Stephen Favre, the United Workers' Party candidate for Castries North.
Mr. Favre, good afternoon to you, sir.
Share some of the concerns which we've raised. I've been speaking with the people of Lochleary, and there's been grave concern expressed about the disposal or the disclosure by Minister King that he would be disposing of those lands which were used for the CDC estates to a foreign investor. Someone who obviously is not known to the residents of Lochleary, who is not known to the people of St. Lucia. Someone who he and the Prime Minister would have met at the African Import-Export Bank Forum in Grenada. Tim, the residents of Lochleary have been waiting for years. Those residents who were uprooted by King, put into temporary accommodation, and have been waiting for years to return to their place of residence, to their homes, to the lands which they're familiar with, which they've contributed to, and they're a part of. King has promised in his address when he was Prime Minister in 2009 that he'd be working after redeveloping the area to return those people to low-cost or affordable housing. Tim, again, he made that promise in 2018. Now, many years later, as part of the SLP administration, he and the Prime Minister of St. Lucia have agreed to dispose of those lands that people have been waiting on to return. Tim, where was the consultation? Has he spoken to the residents of Lochleary on what their priorities are? Tim, the residents have not been consulted. Has the VBCC, which is a very important part of the constituency, have they been consulted? Has the church been consulted? And Tim, to add insult to injury, he's disclosing for the first time publicly that Lochleary will be designated a special economic zone. Really? Do the people who live in Lochleary want their area, a community which they're very proud of, that they work day and night to nurture, where they grew up in, to be designated an economic zone? What would that mean for the informal businesses, the vendors? What would that mean for the mom and pop shops in the area? So he is planning to erect a massive commercial center financed by some unknown investor, and the people have not been consulted. And he's also planning to make people's homes the subject of legislation related to a special economic zone. Tim, I ask a question. Is the designation of the area a special economic zone related to a friend of his who is erecting a massive commercial project in Vidbouteille? And I think St. Lucians need to know that there's a project going up in Vidbouteille which is affiliated with an associate of his. Is that why he is now thinking of putting this blanket umbrella legislation over Lochleary and without consulting with the people? Still, what is going on? I ask your listeners to investigate this development in Vidbouteille and find out the relationship between King and that investor. Tim, King and this approach has to be stopped. People have to be consulted, and he is in no position to hand over Lochleary to a foreign investor. Let me be clear. King has handed over the port to GPH as Minister of Responsibility of SLASPA. He has been complicit in handing over Banans to, again, someone else as Minister with responsibility for the ports. And now he's again betraying the people of Lochleary by entering into an agreement, and these are his words, with an African investor affiliated with the African Import-Export Bank without consulting. Who is this investor? Where were the consultations? What about those people who were uprooted and displaced and are still waiting for a place to go to return to? Will he displace the vendors and small businesses in the area? The people are concerned now, Tim. What about the locals who have the wherewithal and resources to also invest in that area? Were they given an opportunity to tender? Was it an RFP issued by King? So this is very disturbing to me. This is very disturbing to the residents. And again, this is another example in a series of betrayal that this gentleman, the member for Castries North, has demonstrated, and the contempt with which he has treated the people of Castries North. Tim, we need to be clear on these issues. When were the consultations? Who is the investor? What takes place with those people who are uprooted, who are still waiting to return to those lands? And how will he treat with the small businesses and vendors who are now concerned? And finally, Tim, he has to answer the question, is this legislation, a special economic zone, have anything to do with his affiliate who is building a massive multi-million-dollar project which will be duty-free in Budbutei? Again, another project which will suck taxpayers' money and suck investment out of St. Lucia and put in the hands of people who are unknown to St. Lucian people. Tim, I thank you.
Thank you so much for calling, sir. Just heard there from Mr. This individual who is the United Lucas Party candidate for Castries North, Mr. Stephen Favrier. Let me turn attention now to you, Amanda. What is happening in the chat room?
Good afternoon, Tim. Good afternoon, spinners. A few comments from the chat room. It reads, in the words of the minister, innocent until proven guilty, so why say Guy was guilty? Selective amnesia. A commentary reads, Sim, you've been the middleman for some time now, lol. A newsspinner says, a Nigerian investor. Anyway, why can't there be a similar project down in VA4? Everything is north, north, north. A commentary reads, politics is really a joke now. Someone says, are you kidding me? Now SLP is making deals with Africans. A commentary reads, so the investor has no name. A newsspinner says, should does not mean will. What is the cost to the vendors? Commentary reads, too many of them profiting in secret. That's why they won't want to pass a Freedom of Information Act. Commentary says, King, in other words, concessions for votes. Man, St. Lucians aren't stupid. Chicken and rum politics do not work anymore. Someone says, now King wants to do all that he did not do. Election is coming. A newsspinner says, King, you read Mark Brantley's playbook, special development zones for foreigners and not locals. We seem to be only good as consumers, not property owners. Commentary reads, St. Lucia will be the capital of Nigeria. A newsspinner says, King not doing anything like he has been on a maternity leave for 4 years. Commentary reads, SLP is painting a rosy picture they know does not exist. In a way, it would be good if they win. Let me see how they would clean up their mess without y'all suffering. A commentary says, and the plans for VA4 are still T-boutique plans. VA4 needs radical and grand plans to make a meaningful impact to them and the surrounding communities. A commentary reads, both sides need to stop it. All constituents should get the adequate share based on the population. A newsspinner says, I tell them that caller they are not doing anything in the constituencies. Check Migu village. The seawall, which was built many years ago, is now falling apart, threatening the inhabitants close to the sea. Another commentary reads, so the same way the reps are having meetings through their constituents during the election season, why can't they do the same when big decisions need to be made while they are in power? A few commentary via YouTube, it reads, as they're about to be voted out, everything is now falling from the sky. Commentary says, Laclery as a special development area. Did Mr. King just woke up and decided this is needed? Residents need to understand what the implications are and how this will affect them. Commentary via YouTube, it says, honestly, and it upsets me to think politicians giving St. Lucia away for a slice of cake. A newsspinner says, Mr. Cameron, the Prime Minister is blaming you guys rather than trying to resolve the issue. Commentary says, the grass is not always green on the other side. Think about that. And a commentary via YouTube, it reads, the best advice I can give to the Prime Minister is dissolve the House of Parliament and call elections so the people can give a government a fresh mandate to govern. Back to you, Tim.
Thank you so much, Amanda. We have a call via the landline. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hi. Good afternoon to you, caller.
And good afternoon, Amanda.
Good afternoon, caller.
You remember when Beryl passed and the jetty in Vieux-Fort, that's where the SSU Coast Guard base was. Remember that was destroyed?
Yes.
And up to date, it's still the same way, So I wanted to ask, where are they? Because there was a marine boat that had parked there. I want to know where the marine boat is located, or whether they send it in Castries. Because the jetty is still there, Tim, even as I'm sitting there right now. It's evidence. They didn't repair it. So that the Coast Guard, the marine boat will patrol the sea between St. Vincent and Beaufort. At least they could, those illegal firearms that come in drugs, and keep that area there safe. But there's no, I just don't know. Are we waiting for when half of St. Lucia sink to do something? You mean to me that is something that a member for Beaufort South, instead of want to take everybody on, would have at least try and help the police with that, getting that jetty repair, so they cannot get a contractor to repair the jetty. But anyway, I read when you make the in your hot button issue on your program, and then about freedom of act. Is it, Tim, when government do things and they say they claim they're doing it on behalf of us, is it that we don't have a right to question that before they do it?
We absolutely have a right, but they do not feel compelled to provide us with answers to our questions. They don't believe they owe us an explanation.
So what about if it go bad now?
Well, they make excuses as to why it went bad.
But this is, when I check this, and I'm support about Stephen, I'm the independent candidate, this is really bad. You are enter into a deal, a business with a foreign company. The people have no idea who is the person. Nobody know who. And then, but it is being done on behalf of St. Lucia, on behalf of the government of St. Lucia. And if something went wrong, taxpayers have to go back and to pay that. Whatever deal it is, and this is, and I don't believe in too many countries operating like that, unlike St. Lucia. These things are just not good. Listen to Mr. Fevrier. I'm the candidate for United Workers' Party. I mean, why you cannot have a town hall meeting with the people, discussing the issue with the people, because whatever that will happen, there will be in the vicinity of where the people are living in La Clery, discuss with them, having their views, and then you will see how best that thing can work. But for some reason, you have entered into a deal with a Nigerian again, Nigerian.
Kola, let's not stigmatize anybody. I mean, the fact that you hear Nigerian does not mean that it's somebody who is, is into any illicit activities, Kola. Let's not do that.
No.
But you said Nigerian. What do you mean by that? When you said a Nigerian, it could be an American, it could be a Canadian, could be somebody from Puerto Rico. The way you said a Nigerian.
But, okay. But, I mean, why you cannot say, I am the XYZ is going to get that property, do a business. So then we have a consultation with the people, a meeting, so the people will be discussed, whatever. If you don't want the entire St. Lucia to know about it, but then the residents need to have an idea what's going on. You mean to tell me you cannot find a businessman?
Well, in more civilized societies, what you do, residents would hold their representatives accountable. There are frequent town hall meetings, and those people are pilloried. Those people are quizzed. A lot of questions are posed to those people, and they have to answer those questions. That is not the case in St. Lucia. We've given politicians carte blanche, especially when they have that kind of mandate of 15-2. They believe they can do what they want. So let's not pretend, let's not act as if we are so surprised that politicians are behaving in such an arrogant manner.
Tim, the reason I'm putting that emphasis on that, all now, so Tim, politicians have in town hall meeting,
To say what? To say what? To convince us to re-elect them into office?
Exactly, very well. Convincing the masses, the people, to vote for them. I will do this when I come, I will do this. Or you can question me if I'm going wrong, you can actually. But now there, you are in power, election is round the corner, but you are rushing and do something. We vow the consult. When are these things going to stop? And that is why...
They will not stop on their own, corner. They will not stop on their own.
Tim, briefly on that. That is why I can understand, in my little knowledge I have, why in some countries the people just take matters on their own, such as what happened in Nepal the last time, That is why I can understand that. And we are civilized society. I mean, we know things, we seen what is happening across. That doesn't mean one day St. Lucia is not going to get bad, worse than that, If we refuse to let the people know how we're handling their money and not telling them it's not your business, and you could just use taxpayers' money to what you want and expect. If you lose election to get away with that, in some countries you don't get away, You're not getting away with that. Is why every penny must be counted and you must give an account as to what you do. You cannot just use the treasury of the states and just do what you want, throw in on the campaign, meetings after meeting, rally and butter. And when the country breaks now, hurricane hit us, you everywhere begging everywhere for assistance. So everybody you. But this type of mentality, that is why we need totally, and the Freedom of Information Act, that should not just something that doesn't make sense. Either have to have teeth, bite, and make sure that those persons we are putting in office are accountable for their behavior. Because they cannot believe when they lose an election, that's it. I don't have no question to answer. In some countries, partner, they're jailing you for that. When they go back and check your record, you're not getting away with that. We need to change the way we govern and the way we putting people in office there. I thank you.
Thanks so much for calling. Still to come, we'll be hearing from a former Castries Central MP, Sarah Flood Bobra, on this, the most monitored talk show in the world.
KFC, yo, we back with the vibe. Strips and dip combo, flavor that rise. Free crispy strips, fries on the side. 16-ounce drink, sauce for the ride. Order for 25, deal so nice. Good and crunchy, can't think twice. Barbecue, honey, mustard ranch if you wish. Dip it, dunk it, finger licking bliss. KFC, brand new flavor. Set the mood, strips and dip is back, finger licking good.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbuta at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Are you ready? Get set. Let's go green with Loose Select. No more paper, no more mess. Easy billing, no stress. Use my account to pay online. Pay your bill at any time. Get the stress off your mind. No more standing in line.
Visit LootSelect.com today and sign up to my account to pay your bill. Request a temporary or new connection or switch an account to your tenant's name. Do it all online.
Personal, paperless. Use the virtual service desk. Are you ready? Get set. Let's go green with Loose Select.
Chronic back pain, arthritis, spinal injuries, nerve disorders, even painful cramps. These conditions affect daily life, but you don't have to live with pain. Every day matters when it comes to your health. At La Clinique du Corps, we provide fast, accurate diagnosis with advanced GE-certified MRI technology and internationally recognized specialists. Our focus is safe, effective treatment that restores mobility, relieves pain, and gives you back your quality of life. Call 451-6559 today. 451-6559. La Clinique du Corps, because time is vital in health.
At First National Bank, we believe being first means putting you first. Your first home? We've got the mortgage. Starting your first business? Count on our commercial loans. Dreaming of your first car? Drive it home today. Heading to college? Let's fund that first big step with a student loan. No matter the milestone, make First National Bank your first choice for all your loan needs. First in service, first in trust, first for you. Call us at 455-7000 or visit your nearest First National Bank branch today so we can help put you first. First National Bank, here for you.
Are you building, renovating, or just looking to add something to your property? Then look no further. The Block Factory has all your concrete product needs in stock, from 4-inch to 12-inch concrete blocks to high-quality concrete pavers at an affordable price. Whether your project is big or small, we're ready to serve you. Visit us today on the cul-de-sac Bextor Highway, right at the entrance of Farron, next to the Stone Surgeon. Top quality blocks await you. Call us at 720-6752. The Block Factory, building your future one block at a time.
Madame Elma, avec Monsieur Jordan, requested here by Junior Creole, an event affair is happening on Saturday, 11th October 2025 at Albans Place, 1418 Park Place, Brooklyn, New York. Meadow, Albans Place, 1418 Parks Place, Brooklyn, New York. Nous gagnons manger Creole avec boire Creole. Nous allons commencer 8h, les bon matin, et ça va finir 8 o'clock in the night. So from 8 to 8 we there. Venez à mise call. Nous gagnons tout quartier manger Cavon. As a matter of fact, Awanson, Lamoui, Permis, Balaou, Dite Coco, Café local. On shy by Meadow, what shy by nous gagnons là. But ça, après nous fin manger 8h, we continue with a Tep Maui dance at Mona Lounge, 210 Tapscott, Brooklyn, New York. Admission is only $20 and it starts from 10 p.m. onwards. Straight out of St. Lucia, DJ Stormy, and of course yours truly, Mr. Jordan, alongside DJ Chung and Roots Rock. This Junior Creole weekend, Saturday, October 11th, Temedu, from Albans Place to Mona Lounge, 210 Tapscott, Brooklyn, New York. Nous là, vini à Miseko, et vini à bon Junior Creole.
Babono! We are coming this Sunday, October 12th from 3 p.m. The St. Lucia Labour Party proudly launches John Estefan, your candidate who will lead with purpose, passion, and progress. Join us at the Caribbean Cinemas parking lot, Alan Bousquet Highway, as we stand together with our political leader and Prime Minister, Honorable Philip J. Pierre, to celebrate leadership, development, and opportunities for all St. Lucians. This Sunday, Babono comes alive with John Estefan and Prime Minister Pierre. We are moving forward together.
Who we voting for? JP, we voting for.
1, 2, 3.
Hello, St. Lucia. I am Ezra the Fun Machine, and I'm inviting all proud and patriotic St. Lucians to the St. Lucia Taiwan Partnership Trade Show happening at the Pavilion on Rodney Bay from the 7th to the 9th of November 2025. Let me tell you, the best and brightest entrepreneurs will showcase their talent and creativity, so you don't want to miss it. It's going to be a vibe. Hey, there'll be a cooking competition, karaoke, and a fashion show by Rafati. On Friday, November 7th, yours truly, Ezra the Fun Machine, I'll be in the building performing live. And on Saturday and Sunday, entertainment will be provided by the Impulse Band. Come celebrate our brilliant entrepreneurs at the 18th St. Lucia Taiwan Partnership Trade Show, November 7th to the 9th. Opening time 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily at the Pavilion in Rodney Bay.
It's coming. The brunch of the century. Welcome to Sunburnt. It's coming. Sunburnt.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world. Let's hear now from Amanda King, an update regarding some of the comments that you have made in the chat room, whether it's Facebook or YouTube.
Tim, a few comments here via Facebook. And NewsSpin says, where are the people who are concerned? Why aren't we hearing their voices? A comment here reads, soaking at a secret date too. And NewsSpinner says, while VA4 has been reduced to a crime escalated zone, Leclerc will be labeled an economic escalated zone. Another comment here reads, King should have bowed out of politics peacefully and still maintain some sort of dignity. Right now he has failed all around. Someone says there, I see Kazimir handing what looks like a check to Monday's fire victims. I am asking, does the government take 2 days to pay from the distress fund? I wonder if all those other fire victims got the funds within 2 days. A commentary reads, I tell you all, by the time SLP is done, St. Lucia will not belong to St. Lucia. A NewsSpinner says, wasn't it the SLP complaining that Chasney was selling about St. Lucia to foreigners? As far as I remember, under Chasney, the only foreign investor was Tio. With the SLP, we hear of GPH, Galaxy, and now we are hearing of African investments. Another commentary reads, King, you in Blue Wave, you are not a part of the government. Okay, back to you, Tim.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Well, that update ended quite abruptly. Let's continue with your calls and your WhatsApp messages on this, the most monitored talk show in the world. Let us hear now from Serflad Bobra. She's giving her take on this SSDF activity which took place recently. It appeared to be a political event. But before we hear from her, let's hear from the caregiver who made that statement at that particular event. And then we'll get a reaction from Mrs. Serflad Bobra.
When the election bell rings, when the election bell rings, rest assured, we will answer to that call. After we have done our morning rounds, ensured our clients are fed, bathed, and comfortable, we will make our way to the polling stations. Not alone, but with our families, our neighbors, our friends, and our scrub-wearing sisters. We will go proudly and purposefully. And when we get to that ballot paper, we will put an X by the star. And we will put that X to ensure, yes, we will put that X to ensure that you, Mr. Alan Shasney, never return to office again. We will vote to protect the future.
I've heard former permanent secretaries speak about this, and this is egregious. For this to happen with state resources, I mean, as I said, we are at the edge of a precipice, and for that to happen so blatantly and openly.
For what to happen?
For state resources to be used for a political event. That's what it was. Someone who was present told me that when she got there were whistles and everything. They came to a political event. Yeah. There were whistles and everything, and it was, you would have sworn you were at a political rally.
And the SSDF is not an arm of the St. Lucia Labour Party. It's not.
Now, let us say those persons who are not there are not on permanent establishment. Maybe they don't know the rules. Let us just say they were caught up in the moment. They got word that they were going to be put on permanent contract. They're all excited. They don't know the rules of the public service. And let us say they got carried away. And let us say that this person who stood up and said what she said, escorted by Spider, also got carried away. Let's just say that. The Prime Minister was present.
And the Minister was present.
And the Minister, and I assume the Minister was present for civil transmission, and I assume the officials at SSDF who ought to know what the rules are. And there is also a permanent secretary for that ministry.
Right.
Let us just say all these people, well, they were there, but the crowd, the persons who made the noise, they got carried away. What should the public officials who know better have done at that event? to make sure the rules are not violated in such a public way. They are the custodians of all of the government machinery and the rules that make sure that we can flourish and operate in a democracy. Have they said anything? Did they say to that lady, no, ma'am, no, you don't do that?
You mean after the event, or?
It should have been done during the event, because you've got to send a message right away. It's not to be this way, so that everybody gets it. No, ma'am, no. And you apologize. I'm sorry, this wasn't meant to be this way. This is not a political event, and I appreciate your support, but I would encourage you not to make political statements. You say it right away. Because you are the leaders, and you know the rules, and you ought to set the example. Up to now, has the Prime Minister spoken about what happened?
Well, I want to go back. I want to go back on your statement about setting the example.
Go ahead,
The example was in fact set by the Prime Minister, because the Prime Minister just days before, at a cabinet press briefing. Cabinet means government, okay? At a cabinet press briefing, brought Lisa Joa here to speak at a cabinet press briefing. She's not a member of cabinet. Okay, to talk about her launching, okay, her Labour Party candidate launching. That is how far we have gone now. We're blurring the lines between state apparatus and partisan politics. And like you quite rightly said, we are dismantling democracy when we do that.
Very quickly.
And that is very dangerous.
We have dismantled. We have dismantled the government machine. We've done it.
You just heard there from Mrs. Sarah Flood Mowbray and also Leonard Spider Mutuz appearing on the program Meet the Opposition. 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. We have a call on the landline. Let's say good afternoon to you. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Timothy.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller.
This is Laura Japierre Noel.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon to you.
How are you, Timothy?
I'm okay.
Hi, Amanda. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, call. I'm fine, thank you.
Timothy, I just wanted to use your platform to thank my supporters and the people of Labrie and Rouget, Bance, Lagrasse, for understanding why we had to postpone the opening of our office yesterday. We were very mindful that there was going to be an outdoor event. Initially, when we heard of the event, it was dubbed as an AGM. Typically, when the St. Lucia Labour Party have events during the week, it is held on a Tuesday for the Tuesday town halls, and when they have the AGMs are usually held on a Sunday, which is why we strategically chose a Wednesday. When we heard that there was a Wednesday event, we didn't think much of it because it's an AGM. Usually AGMs are done on the inside and not on the outside, even though it was going to be held 4 doors away from ours. But once we realized that it was an outdoor event, and trust me, Timothy, the constituents were very perturbed and very annoyed. Those who are United Workers' Party supporters and independent thinkers were very perturbed that the market was being used as an outdoor venue for the St. Lucia Labour Party to host their AGM when the vendors, the very people that the market was created for, was rebuilt for, have yet to use the market. So I want to thank everyone for being understanding. That I couldn't in all conscience put my constituents through that. If there were to be any kind of negative interaction between the two factions, I could not live with myself. So I had no choice but to postpone. So the event is going to be held on Friday, which is tomorrow from 5:30. And we are encouraging everybody to come and hear what we have to say, to see the location that you can come and interact with me, because it's not very nice when I'm walking the streets or going somewhere and someone says, I want to speak with you, and we have to speak on the roadside. It opens the constituents to a lot of victimization, because a lot of them have come back to tell me, members of on the other side have victimized them. They've gotten calls from the hierarchy of the branch and all of that, and it's not very nice. So we will, as of tomorrow, have our location where persons can come in and speak with me and share their dreams, their concerns, their hopes for the constituency. Also, Timothy, I wanted to make mention of something that happened last night, something that was said. I often wondered why Kenny Anthony would have been the guest speaker at the Library AGM, a man who had previously said he didn't want to be on a platform with anybody, any of his colleagues. And, well, we saw what happened when Butcher was endorsed. That is to be expected. But I never expected that Kenny Anthony would come down to Library. I mean, what exactly did he have to say? And I was speaking to some young people, and I posed the question, and they were just as flummoxed as myself. So imagine my surprise when Kenny Anthony will not only, you in Library, you represent in Beaufort South, but you would go all the way to Beaufort North and say that the only thing that the people of Beaufort North would have remembered from I don't want to misspeak and say something he didn't say, but in effect he said that the only thing that they could remember from the United Workers' Party is when Mr. Joe Emmanuel represented United Workers' Party in Beaufort North. Timothy, I don't know if you know who Mr. Joe Emmanuel is. That man was vilified so much when he was alive. This man has been dead for almost 40 years. And this is the name that you are invoking? Well, this morning my phone hasn't stopped ringing. And I've been getting the calls from Library, Beaufort South, Beaufort North, all of those persons who would have been alive at the time and who would remember who Mr. Joe Emmanuel was, and said, although Kenny Anthony was exhorting the crowd not to rewrite history and not to allow history to be rewritten, I was told that the reason why the polls were taken down is because the people themselves said they did not want the polls. They did not want the polls. So he would have been talking about Mr. Joe Emmanuel effectively putting up poles for electricity. Now remember, I told you that was over 40 years ago. Mr. Joe has been dead for almost 40 years, and so that would have happened more than 40 years ago. Okay? And they were saying that they did not want the polls. There are other things that Mr. Joe would have done and that the people would have said they did not want and whatnot. They vilified the man. But for Kenny Anthony to come down to Lab to say that this is what the people would have remembered from Mr. Joe is that he took down the polls. The people themselves said they didn't want it. Do not forget that Beaufort North, like Library, is represented by the SLP for almost 50 years. Almost 50 years. He would have made a huge song and dance. He proclaimed loudly in his unimitable way that we should remember that Alva opened or built the Majamel Road. Well, let me remind Mr. Kennedy Anthony that while the Majamel people deserve the road, because the road that they had was not in the best of condition, what would be the reason for building the road to such an extent, so far beyond where the last house in Majamel is erected? And then, why would the road be closed? Why would there be a chain link across the road stating private property? Why are we using state funds to build a road on private property? Is it really private property? There is a video circulating of the sitting rep doing a video in front of the Majamel waterfall, boasting of the Majamel waterfall, Timothy. And do you know that because the road is closed, you cannot access that gem, that jewel of Majamel? the road is closed, and so we cannot access the waterfall? Is this the representation that Kenny Anthony is coming to tell us in Labrie about? I mean, Mr. Anthony has to remember that Beaufort South is in a deplorable condition. The ports have been closed, or we cannot improve the ports in Beaufort for 30 to almost 40 years under his watch. Many businesses have been closed under his watch, and he's going to come to Labrie to tell us how great a sitting rep we have who has been there for almost 20 years. And if we had not exhorted and said, go build the market that they were so proud to be under, go build that market, you promised us, it would not have been built. If we had not spoken about the Dearborn Road, it would not have been fixed. If we had not spoken about the light. And by the way, the name of the park is Desmond Collymore Park, not Crossover Park. The lights are still off and has never been put on for the sportsmen and women of the constituency. And you're going to boast that the one in Auger is being erected as we speak? Is that one going to be the Magwit light? Because the one in Labrie has only been turned on for hours, right? And not for the sportsmen and women. So I just wanted to touch on those two things, Timothy. I thank you so much for giving me the time. And I want to remind Labrie, Auger, and all of St. Lucia, make it alive. Come down to Labrie. It's Slubber Friday tomorrow. Come join us and see and hear what we have in store for the constituency of Labrie and Auger. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for calling, Mrs. Noel. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. More of your calls and your WhatsApp messages still to come.
Messieurs, aujourd'hui, moi la ka espérer plein bon glow. Si t'en la pani pressure. Moi ni tongue, moi ni glow, mais money pressure. Ou savez ça moi besoin? A pomme. Ça c'est bêtise. Moi ka aller ko Europa. Yo ni toute pomme pour toute condition. Qui pour kay, qui pour business. Yo ni pli mer pour pomme cette ici. Yo ka ranger pomme aussi qui besoin service. Brand pump yo c'est Léo. Pump ça c'est Major. Ils bon tout bonnement. Tant si ten moins actuellement. Glo ka fante. Europa ni pump glo Léo en de couleur neuf, orange et gris. Visitez Europa ambassade Gozile. Les mots au téléphone 452 0763.
Essier, don't tell me that tire flat again. I just changed that tire.
Wait, what? You just changed that tire?
Well, I bought a used one because you didn't give me enough money.
Oh, I see. Well, you know what? Chivi's Tire Shop only carry brand new quality tires at affordable prices with free installation.
Hey, it seems you're working at Chivi's Tire Shop. How you know all that?
Come on, Brenda. The tire shop down the road from our home in the American Drywall Building.
Oh, yes. I forgot. Well, you know what, Patrick? Let's go there right now. Take your wallet. Let's go.
Chivi's Tire Shop, located at the American Drywall Building, Vic Bouteille. Call or WhatsApp 584-5986. Chivi's Tire Shop. Pay less, drive more.
Lucilec averti ou pour point précaution durant saison cyclone Salah. Mi an ti commission qui kaywen de ou protéger la vie ou ek propriétaire ou. Kouye Lucilec avant ou trim et ben couper pied bois qui pouet ligne électrique. Veillez pour ligne courant électrique avant ou monter l'échelle. Fait assurer l'échelle, scaffold et bout d'outil ou ka servi pas venir moins qui 10 pieds hors ligne courant électrique. Pas jamais servi appliance et ben outils qui ka servi courant électrique. Des wall côté qui mouillé et ben en la pli. Ça c'était en commission hors Lucilec.
Tired of sky-high bills and a planet on the brink? It's time to go green without burning your pockets. At First National Bank, we are here to make saving the planet affordable. Whether you're installing solar panels, purchasing a water tank, upgrading to an inverter AC, or buying a hybrid vehicle, we've got the green to help you go green. fast approval, low interest rates, and Mother Nature approved. Your future self will thank you. Visit firstnationalbankonline.com or call 455-7000 for more information to help you turn your green dreams into clean realities. First National Bank, here for you.
KFC, yo, we back with the vibe. Strips and dip combo, flavor that rise. Free crispy strips, fries on the side. 16-ounce drink, sauce for the ride. Order for 25, deal so nice. Go down and crunchy, can't think twice. Barbecue, honey, mustard ranch if you wish. Dip it, dunk it, finger licking bliss. KFC, brand new flavor. Set the mood, strips and dip is back. Finger licking good.
Chronic back pain, arthritis, spinal injuries, nerve disorders, even painful cramps. These conditions affect daily life, but you don't have to live with pain. Every day matters when it comes to your health. At La Clinique du Corps, we provide fast, accurate diagnosis with advanced GE-certified MRI technology and internationally recognized specialists. Our focus is safe, effective treatment that restores mobility, relieves pain, and gives you back your quality of life. Call 451-6559 today. 451-6559. La Clinique du Corps, because time is vital in health.
Yes. That was the Lucia Top 5 for Carnival 2025. Yes. Welcome back to Real Men Take Charge, guys. Real Men Check Up.
To all my listeners out there, visit a men's health clinic in your area today.
PSA checkups are now free.
It's private, it's quick, it's efficient, and convenient.
Music touches the soul, but health keeps the rhythm going. Fellas, it's time to check your PSA levels. It's free, it's simple, it can save your life.
Brothers, do you not know that your bodies are the temples of the Holy Spirit? Let us be wise stewards of our lives. Prostate test saves lives. Let us not wait until it is too late.
To be a champion, you need to show up for yourself. I'm encouraging every man to take the step. Get checked. Stay strong. Do it for the team. Do it for your family.
My daddy is a hero, and I want him around for a very long time. Daddy, if you care about me, please take care of your health.
I faced colon and prostate cancer head on, and I'm still standing. Early detection saved my life. If I can do it, so can you. Don't wait. Get tested. It's free, it's simple, and it will definitely save your life also.
Real men.
Real men.
Real men take charge.
Real men check up.
Need branded apparel that looks sharp and shows up on time? Welcome to Imprinted Designs, where every stitch counts. We specialize in custom embroidery and t-shirt printing for businesses, teams, events, you name it. From embroidered logos on polished Oxford shirts, available in a variety of colors for men and women, to bold, high-quality printed tees that turn heads, we do it all. Bring your own shirts or choose from ours. Small runs, big orders, rush jobs, no problem. At Imprinted Designs, we're built for speed, efficiency, and clean professional results delivered on time, every time. So if you want your brand to stand out, not wait around, come down to Imprinted Designs at the Valmore Plaza or hit us up at 451-2920 or email address imprinteddesignsSLU@gmail.com. Imprinted Designs, where every stitch counts.
Are you building, renovating, or just looking to add something to your property? Then look no further. The Block Factory has all your concrete product needs in stock. From 4-inch to 12-inch concrete blocks to high-quality concrete pavers at an affordable price. Whether your project is big or small, we're ready to serve you. Visit us today on the Cul-de-Sac Bextor Highway, right at the entrance of Farron, next to the Stone Surgeon. Top quality blocks await you. Call us at 720-6752. The Block Factory, building your future one block at a time.
Babano, we are coming this Sunday, October 12th from 3 p.m. The St. Lucia Labour Party proudly launches John Estefan, your candidate who will lead with purpose, passion, and progress. Join us at the Caribbean Cinemas parking lot, Alan Bousquet Highway, as we stand together with our political leader and Prime Minister, Honorable Philip J. Pierre, to celebrate leadership, development, and opportunities for all St. Lucians. This Sunday, Babano comes alive with John Estefan and Prime Minister Pierre. We are moving forward together.
Who we voting for? JP, we voting for? NewsSpin calling, 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 calling. NewsSpin calling, 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 calling. NewsSpin calling, 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 calling. Across the land, all across the world, echoes the voices, we join hand in hand. How many rise in the afternoon sun? Come along, NewsSpin has begun. NewsSpin is the best, better than all talk show, most monitored talk show in the world. Truth from St. Lucia to sandy shores, from cities and hills to the Caribbean breeze. We sing together, hearts at ease, education to open every mind. Learn about your country, leave no one behind. NewsSpin is on your radio. Come along, hands in hands, voices in unity, singing loud. NewsSpin, who's the best, better than all talk show, most monitored talk show in the world. St. Lucian's heart to the world's every land. Knowledge unites us hand in hand. Yeah, Tim on NewsSpin call, bridging gaps between us all. Voices lift on high, under one sky we unify. Tim on NewsSpin call, bridging gaps between us all. Voices lift on high, under one sky we unify. NewsSpin is on education for all, from city streets to mountains tall. Learn your history, share your dreams. Together we light the world with our fleet. NewsSpin is the best, better than all talk show, most monitored talk show in the world. Better than all talk show, most monitored talk show in the world. NewsSpin is the best, better than all talk show, most monitored talk show in the world. Yeah, NewsSpin is the best, better than all talk show, most monitored talk show in the world.
The insurance is in arrears for 1 month, for 2 months, for 3 months, for 4 months, for 5 months, for 6 months. Philip JP doesn't know about it. Well, he's not doing his job. The insurance is in arrears for 1 month, for 2 months, for 3 months, for 4 months, for 5 months, for 6 months. Philip JP doesn't know about it. Well, he's not doing his job.
I'm here to do my job right here on NewsSpin. Let's take a call. Hello. Good afternoon to you. You are on the air.
Sir Tim.
Yes, Rick. Good afternoon to you.
Your guest last night, I thought was very interesting. You asked him a question that had to do with the Prime Minister saying that he had given the police everything they needed to fight crime.
Yeah.
And you wanted a comment from him on that. And he said, that was an interesting answer, that it's all well and good to give the police what they need. But what if the police hands are tied? Did you understand that?
Well, I think that's a cagey statement, because I went on to ask him about whether it had anything to do with Operation Restore Confidence and the alleged extrajudicial killings.
But here are the thoughts it inspired in me. The Prime Minister says he's given everything to the police to fight crime. What would you say is the most important thing the police need to fight crime?
I don't think that, for me, I don't think there's only one thing. There's
No. I'm saying one of the most important.
I'm just saying there's just so many things that are very important. Right. If you say, hold on, Rick, hold on. If you say giving the police transportation is very important, then you say they must provide training to the police, then you must provide them with their insurance. For me, there's just a number of things that are so important. Right? Maybe you have one in mind.
Okay. Well, I was trying to think a little differently because every prime minister has more or less given the police the same things. Maybe more, maybe less, right?
Yeah.
But this particular police force is burdened. It's burdened with a reputation that stinks. I'm not saying they're guilty of it or they merit it, Tim. I am saying they have a reputation that stinks. The police are seen as having no integrity. I mean, for example, passing on information that it shouldn't to people that it shouldn't to, right?
Yeah.
Police lying, police saying one thing on today about a case, and then 2 weeks later it says something completely different, and we don't get any further. So people don't believe the police anymore. I think you would agree with me. Public trust is one of the most important things that police must have in its fight against crime, and that's what I thought I wanted to say in the first place. If the police themselves have over and over said that if they don't get the cooperation of the population in terms of information, saying what they saw, that kind of stuff, they are very encumbered in their fight against crime, right?
Yes, they do.
So public trust is of extreme importance. But I don't have to tell you, if there's one thing we don't have here, is any trust in the police. And I can give you a number of reasons why. Public respect, that's another thing again. The public does not respect the police. And that's among the reasons it doesn't trust it and it doesn't give it the information that is so imperative in the fight against crime. And then there's the police morale.
You see now, you see what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying to you, Rick. You give me so many different areas. So I mean,
yeah, but you notice the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is, unless the police can be given that back, get back somehow, do what you have to do to restore the police reputation, to restore its integrity, to restore the public respect and public trust.
How do you give the police that? The police have to attain it on their own.
Well, that's the point I'm making. And the police said that the Prime Minister apparently thinks giving the police special equipment or whatever would they have everything to fight crime. But I'm trying to point out to you that here are some things that nobody talks about, and each of those words has a story to itself. Impacts, who killed those people in the time of ORC. All of those things I named there have chapters to them. Now, which prime minister is going to recognize that that's a major problem for the police, that they have to restore the reputation of the police, and that cars, you can give any number of cars, if the public does not trust the police, if the public will not give information, those cars are useless. Those cameras are useless, etc., etc. So my point to you is we've never heard even a conversation about somebody taking responsibility for what has happened to the police over the last few years and why the police has been reduced to what it is right now. Take, for example, your DPP's office. The DPP's office is supposed to work hand in hand with the police. By everything we've heard, there is no trust between the DPP's office and the police, by what we've heard. We've heard commissioners of police saying that the DPP lied. That's something that never happened. We have heard all kinds of stories that we don't have time for. So the justice system that is supposed to be a foundation for the police, that's in a mess, Tim. The number of arrests that are inconclusive, in other words, the number of
cases
that
are resolved, unresolved cases.
Unresolved.
Yeah.
The number of cases unresolved. And when we talk about the police actually have a nerve to come on TV and say how many recent murders they've had a resolution, 2 or 3 or whatever it is. But Tim, what about the scores of people who were killed or raped, killed while raped and all that kind of stuff? It's as if we don't have a cold case list. And speaking of cold case list, you know how many people, many years later, might be prepared to give the police information on a cold case, Tim? We don't have anything anywhere, any advertisement, any standard encouragement for people after years of a cold case to come and tell us what you know. Let alone...
Because you see, because people on their own volition will not come forward and provide the police with that kind of information. Because they themselves would have forgotten about the case. They would also have lost interest. In some instances, those people have moved on mentally and physically.
Well, those are the things we don't have time. And those are the things I wanted to draw attention to. Those are things that the Prime Minister cannot buy for the police. That a lot of action has to be taken to restore the reputation and integrity of the police. Otherwise, they are just a useless body with cars.
Yeah.
Now, I want to quickly also point out something else, Tim.
But Rick, this is a hell of an assignment for any administration, you know, to improve the image of the police, to cause more people to trust the police. Yes, it's huge. It's significant.
It's even a bigger assignment when you pay no attention to it, when you don't even think about it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to point out to you how little we think in this country, critical thinking. We hear them saying, oh, people must come and give us information. We can't do this on our own. But they do nothing about why people are not coming. The government not even talking about it. The different administrations, they don't even talk about it. Now, the matter of February and that land thing they were talking about, it occurs to me, again, that even if the government, even if King held a meeting, public meeting, and even if he did the usual illusion of inclusion, which is to say get a dozen people in some hall and talk about the land, whatever, what impact do you really think that's going to have on anything, Tim?
Because number one, I don't think not much, because the right people will not attend as well to ask the appropriate questions of those people who will be at the head table.
And my point to you is, even if people were to say no, the usual thing is to quietly tell them to F off in a nice way, and things will go on.
Because the people would not demonstrate that they're serious about their position or objection to a project of that nature taking place in their constituency.
To get my point now, we really do get the government we deserve. Do you believe the electorate right now is taking anything into serious consideration, the issues that have been talked about? Do you really, in your heart of heart, believe that at certain homes, at the majority of homes in St. Lucia, people are sitting there saying, you know, that GAPH deal or that DSH and talking about that?
Rick, the electorate is in a coma. It has been in a coma for a while now. They don't care about
the
those
electorate
issues.
is not in a coma. The electorate has been trained to be what it is, monkeys dancing in yellow and red. That is the point. And those people, there's so few of them, and they are responsible for that in the main. The so-called educated and better off ones are the ones who bleed governments to get special deals. So on either side, you're not going to get them coming out and criticizing in an erudite fashion the things that are wrong with the country. So the things that are wrong with the country are perpetuated day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. Nobody is calling for any kind, and those who do will have their mother cursed out in public TV, and I'm not going to use the favorite word. I wouldn't use it in the particular media, or they will be threatened one way or another, and we'll sit on our asses and take it. I am not violent. There's not an inch of violence in me. But I know power and the abuse of power is not given over and just like that. When people abuse the power you give them, they don't give it back to you because you ask for it. You have to take it. And unfortunately, in the places where the people have had to take it, it has always been violence. And I am not, in fact, let me be very careful how I say that. Not careful, but wise in how I say it. You remember one prime minister who said publicly, there are times when violence is justified?
Yes, I remember a particular prime minister made that statement, but I can't recall the exact prime minister.
That was a Labour Party prime minister. Not that it matters, but I want to say who he is. Alan Luisi.
Okay.
There are times when violence is justifiable, is justified. Look what happened in Nepal, where thousands of young people, especially, took over what is he, prime minister or president? He and his wife and his officers and whatnot, and dumped them literally in the river.
Mm-hmm.
And more we are seeing those kind of demonstrations. England, but is not known for demonstration. There is not a week when the streets of London are packed. Same thing going on in most of the world, including the supposed bastion of freedom. And I don't want to be encouraging people to do that over here. Lord knows we can't handle it. But we must be adamant. It's not the anger of the people that's the problem, Tim. The problem is the cause of the anger, the righteousness of the anger. When people are abused and abused and abused, when the few people who have courage stand up to say something and are cussed out on TV or they are victimized in one way or another, or their business is closed, you leave them no alternative but to survive by any means necessary. So whatever is threatening you, you are left no choice but to do away with that threat one way or another. So whoever wants to go and misinterpret that, I am saying, let us not concentrate on the anger. Let us concentrate more on the causes of the anger and determine whether the anger is justified in those cases. No amount of illusion of inclusion and talking to people and giving the people information will do anything. And the politicians know that. And they will tell the people what they want to say anyway, Tim. Lying by any means, they do it.
And the people are already so gullible.
We are getting very close to anomie in this country. And I'm saying it to all the leaders of this country, both sides. The people, it doesn't take much to bring this country to its knees, you know. And Lord forbid we are already in enough trouble that I should be praying for anybody being his knees. But when people are abused and you bring onto them the kind of anger that is uncontrollable, anything can happen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rick. Somebody says via WhatsApp yesterday, while collaborating with a colleague in the UK, we explored a fresh perspective. Following Rick's contribution, Dr. Wilson provided valuable insights contextualizing the matter about Lisa Jawayer. We were all engaged, attentively listening to her perspective. My British colleagues then remarked, excellent, concise, and well-reasoned. Who is this individual? I responded, it's simply a caller concerned about the current situation. I then added, her contribution was exceptional. She should be in a leadership position. I concluded by stating she's a representative from a country with a rich history of Nobel laureates. Our final call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon, you're on the air. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Tim, and good afternoon, Amanda.
Good afternoon,
Tim. I listened carefully to your show for the whole day, and I mean for the time it started until just before the end, and I just wanted to chip in and say something, Tim, that has been bothering me since the whole election climate has started. I have heard the unfairness coming out from the Labour Party leaders, stating that the the United Workers' Party surrogates are insightful, they're slanderous, they're insultive, and that they're picking at the Labour Party. And you know, Tim, this is so untrue, but because they go out there on all the shows and they're saying it, people are actually listening to them because the United Workers' Party people are a little more docile. They ignore things. But something Rick said today that has really gotten to me, and that is true. There's something that You don't encourage violence. I am the last to even think about that because I am a strong spiritual woman. But Tim, the United Workers' Party people and their supporters are not the kind of people. They are not. It has never been a practice of theirs to be in. If you go and you check the whole history of the St. Lucia Labour Party, they've always been the loud, ferocious, the aggressive kind of people. It has not been those of the United Workers' Party. What has happened, Tim, is that you hear them saying, Sapaflabo, and it's the new United Workers' Party, is that the United Workers' Party supporters now have decided that you can't stay quiet and not debunk things that the SLP has been saying, because this, in a way, has caused the loss of the United Workers' Party, one of the causes in the last election. So now they respond, they debunk, they use some of the pages of the playbook of the SLP. The SLP cannot stand that because they alone must say things about you. Tim, I follow every single life that belongs, or have an interest or somebody from the United Workers' Party is on. And if you see, Tim, the level of degradation and insults and mepwe and scandal and vindictiveness and woe that goes on there in the comments. And if you see, when you go out to a United Workers' Party, not the big meetings, I've never seen it at the big meetings, but those little cottage meetings, you see the hecklers from the SLP, but they're out there saying it's UWP. So what I, as chair of the trustees of the United Workers' Party, have been saying and pushing on our supporters is that you screenshot all those nasty, degrading, low-life comments where they insult, where they slander, where they curse, and you're not saying anything, you're not answering them, you're not interfering with them, you're just supporting your party, which is your democratic right. You don't tell them not to support theirs. You don't tell them that they shouldn't be holding up their party, but they come and they slander. And I said, screenshot it. And we are going to put a whole catalog of it, and we are going to post it to the SLP leaders, so them to see it for themselves, for them to stop saying that it is us, and I've asked all the UWP supporters, don't go under the lives of the SLP. Although they don't, but I reiterate, don't go, so that you will never find any comments from the United Workers' Party supporters.
I don't think, ma'am, there's any problem with going into the life of somebody's program or whatever event that they're organizing. But it has everything to do with your behavior, your decorum, how you conduct yourself, what you write. For example, last evening on Newsmaker Live, I had as my guest Mr. Calix Kakal Xavier, and some of the language that's being used. I was forced to address that, and I just cannot understand why people want to degrade themselves to that extent just because a political opponent is on a television program or on a radio program or on Facebook and so on. That's degrading, that is unacceptable, and it says a lot about the mindset of certain people in this country. Clearly does not demonstrate that we are a country with 2 Nobel laureates, a country of George Odlum, and a country of John Compton, and a country of Kenny Anthony. And I don't know where this is really coming from. I don't know if it is desperation. I don't know if people believe being scandalous will scare their political opponents. But certainly that ought not to be the norm in our country.
Tim, I'm saying to you that I'm talking about what I have witnessed. I went to View Fort with Lady Lee, and a group of us were walking around canvassing. And you would imagine, just walking, the SLP supporters just started giving it to us, insulting us. I don't know them, they don't know me, but they just started calling us the worst names you could know. So while we were standing up in the group and they actually came close, I stood up, the guy came close to me. And I looked at him and I said to him, you know, many of these people are different religions here among us in the group. We all have different religious and spiritual views, and I am with them. Do you think that because you have a different political view to mine, that you have the right to insult me? You don't know me. You have never seen me in your life. I've never done you anything. Do you think it's right that you should be doing this? I don't have anything against you. My brother, I can hug you. And Tim, I took a chance. I actually walked up and hugged the man and said, I have nothing against you. You want to support your party, go right ahead. He was taken aback. The others just stood and watched us. Of course, we did that because we had a whole group of us. And I knew I had kind of backup. But this is what they're pushing. They are coming at all those little cottage meetings, Tim. And they are, and I believe that the SLP leaders are encouraging this kind of behavior, because we in the UWP are saying to our people, do not do this. This is not an example for our youth. It is not a way we should go. And I think all right-thinking solutions should denounce that kind of behavior, should tell them off. And we are going to expose them. Tim, you see them using those fake profiles? They don't believe that fake profiles can be exposed. We are going to make an example of them. We are dedicated to taking those things, finding the fake profiles and exposing them to the world and to the hypocritical St. Lucia Labour Party leaders who are not telling their surrogates to stop this kind of thing. We are in a country that is heading forward. This is not a behavior that should be accepted. You can discuss policies, discuss your different point of views politically, but you cannot. Tim, if you come in my yard and you start cursing me and telling me off, I will close my window, turn up the volume, or I might call the police to get you out of my yard. And my cousin might not do that. You come in the yard, they'll take a hose and hose you out, or they might throw hot water on you. I cannot tell the supporters of the United Workers' Party that if the SLPs come under a live that is a UWP live and start cussing up and telling them off, that the United Workers' Party supporters will not take them on. I tell them when we have our cottage meetings and they come there, have your phones up and start to video them and expose them on social media, TikTok, everywhere, because it's time to show what the SLP has been encouraging and doing in this country. And it's time for every St. Lucian who have any shred of dignity in them, who want a future for this country and to see this country go forward in a different way, that they need to say, we are not standing for this kind of slander and mapwe and character assassination and all of that. Tim, if anybody crosses the line with me, I'm not answering you. I will take you where you can, your money, put your mouth where your money is. I will take you there and make an example of you and let your leaders pay it and take you out of court. We cannot tolerate that. And I will not ask the United Workers' Party supporters to be doormats, to let people step on their heads. I'm not promoting any kind of violence, but the SLP needs supporters and hackers need to know. They need to stop this thing. It will not be tolerated. It will not be accepted. We have an election coming. It's free and fair. There are 3 parties. They're full of independence. Then let them do what they have to do. You stand up and you support what you have to support. You try to convince people. This is a democracy where people have given their lives, where they have given their blood to get us that democracy. We cannot tolerate that's happening in our country when we have the future of our young people to see about. And I stand firm with the United Workers' Party, encouraging their supporters not to get involved in things like that. Don't go and antagonize the SLP. Ignore them, but do not back down for them, because they're using intimidation, bullying, and slander and scare tactics, because they're desperate, they're afraid, they see the movement, they know they have failed, and they know that the United Workers' Party is coming back with the 17, especially the visionary leader, to take over and bring this country into the decency and peace that we need in this country. This country needs to get a handle and get back to a place where you and I, Tim, and all of the right-thinking solutions had it. We don't want this kind of militancy in this country. That's not for us. We're not Haiti. We need a peaceful country where people can work hand in hand for the betterment of St. Lucia. Tim, I thank you for the opportunity and the time. Have a good afternoon.
You too, ma'am. Thank you so much. I think some supporters are following the instructions of their leaders. Go into their face and tell them, you lose, you lose. All right, just realize what happened, and we'll play you an example of what transpired at the political meeting. I think it would have been last evening, meeting that was kind of disrupted, a meeting of the Castries Southeast candidate for the UWP.
You see, that is, and I want somebody to record her. Yes, make sure you have her recorded. Let all of St. Lucia see how the Labour Party people come and try their best to disturb UWP meetings. We don't come to your functions. We don't come to your activities. But we have said désagrément, but we are peaceful people. United Workers' Party supporters are supporters and peaceful people. Yo sape ou pou fè sa ou kay fè la, mais ou pa hape ou pou plis pase yon vote.
And let's turn our attention now to our NewsSpin question of the day. The NewsSpin question of the day, it reads, why are St. Lucian voters insulting each other for politicians? Why are St. Lucian voters insulting each other for politicians? The NewsSpin question of the day, followed by the NewsSpin news of the day. It reads, Colombian president says latest vessel struck by the U.S. was Colombian. It's a war for oil. Colombian president says latest vessel struck by the U.S. was Colombian. It's a war for oil. That's the broadcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening to another edition of the world's most monitored talk show. It's NewsSpin. Don't forget to like the video, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and click the notification bell. Goodbye.